Hello and welcome back. So just a quick recap on the last lesson. We saw how a Flexbox can be used to lay out its child elements. And the child elements in the last lesson were these three paragraphs, which I deliberately hard-coded to be relatively small. They were just 50 pixels square. And essentially we used the Flexbox to choose where to locate them. We looked at a number of different options for justify content. We saw how it could take values such as space between, space evenly, as well as start and end and center. Now in this lesson I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to revert these to their default value, which is start in both cases. And instead of simply positioning these 50 by 50 squares, I'm going to remove the height and width restriction on them. And in fact, I'll remove the margin. And this time, rather than merely locating these things someplace within the available container, I'm instead going to fill the container with them. And I'm going to do that by apportioning its space between them. And to do that, we use a property that we haven't seen before. It's called flex. So for instance, if I say flex1 here, and flex1 here, and flex1 here, we can see that the space is equally apportioned between the three of them. And if I said, let's say 1, 3, 7, something like that, we can see that these add up to 11. So this gets 1/11, this gets 3/11, and this gets 7/11 of the space. And of course, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are, so I can say 777, and they all get the same again. Now, what's really interesting is what happens if I remove the flex property from two of them. We can see that now the remaining space has been taken up by the middle one. The number is irrelevant. I can change this to 1, and exactly the same thing is happening. So in this case, red is helping itself to as much space as it needs. So for instance, I can say line 1 and then a break, and then line 2, something like this. And in here I can say maybe lorem 20, something like this. And it takes as much space as it needs, but all the remaining space is always taken up by the middle item because it has this flex property set on it uniquely. Now something quite interesting happens if the item with the flex property grows too large to actually fit into the space. So let's go and do this. If I say lorem 100, I think that'll fit. But if I add as much again, so let's just say lorem 100 again. And now what's happened, by putting too much text in, it's actually grown the middle section to be larger than the space it was allocated. And we really need to prevent this happening, and it can be done easily. This is the blue section. So all I need to do is say overflow auto, and that fixes the problem. And we're now back in good shape where the header has got the space it needs, the footer has got the space it needs, and the main section has got the remaining space, and the overflow is essentially being scrolled within it. Very nice. So with that, I will close this lesson and I will see you in the next.